Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Champions Adjust Sports Talk Show. My name is Aaron Machbitz, and this is episode 14 of the Champions Adjust Sports Talk Show. And you guessed it, this show is brought to you by Champions Adjust, which is a sports performance brand focused on mindset. That's what Champions Adjust means. We are a mindset-centered sports performance brand with mental skills classes, a podcast episode that's released every single day, this sports show once a week. And we have really cool merchandise and apparel that can be found at champsadjust.com. So let's jump into our weekly sports show with the biggest news in sports probably ever of all time is that John Cena has become a bad guy. John Cena has turned heel, to use professional wrestling lingo. He turned on Cody Rhodes last night at the Elimination Chamber, kicked him right in the wiener, and joined forces with the final boss, The Rock, which means John Cena has completely sold his soul. We have corporate sellout John Cena in his final year, in his retirement tour. We have John Cena selling his soul. So I'm excited to see what happens there. But that is the biggest story in sports and entertainment right now going. So check that out if you haven't seen it. And if you want further details and reactions from me about John Cena, WWE, and the Elimination Chamber, go to my wrestling YouTube channel at Pro Wrestling Daily. Now, let's jump in to LeBron and the NBA. We talked about this a little bit last week, but it is a fact that NBA viewership is down. That is a fact. But this whole debate was sparked after LeBron was asked about the NBA's next featured athlete, to which he explained that the current media environment is not fit for a new NBA kingpin. For James, the negativity surrounding the modern game and today's players has gone too far to the point where it actively takes away from the product. Of course, he has a right to say that, and he has, I think it's somewhat correct, but he also posted this on X. So there's a direct quote from LeBron, which he posted on X. Happy this convo was started. It ain't about the face of the game. It ain't about one person or one show. It's about the culture of basketball, the most beautiful game in the world. Our game has never been better. Incredible young stars from all over the world and some older ones. Steph Curry should be all we're talking about today. Let's discuss how great OKC and the Cavs have been this season with two completely different styles and break down why and how they have. Of course, if players don't perform, we need to discuss that too and break that down. Even that can be discussed in a way that's not to bring finality to the player's game, but to leave room to see how that player responds. And let's watch the journey of that player. This ain't about me either. At this point, I don't really care what's said about me. It's always something. This is about the impact the negativity is having on our beautiful game and our fans. I know I speak for a lot of players and, more importantly, a hell of a lot of great fans and that truly love and celebrate this sport around the world. Again, LeBron is absolutely correct in saying a lot of this stuff. It's very well said. It's very well articulated about the game that he truly, truly loves. Now, I disagree because I think baseball is the most beautiful game in the world, but I understand where LeBron is coming from about his love and his passion for the game of basketball. You can see it that he's still playing into his 40s, still working as hard as everyone else. But the point is that all athletes at this point are under more pressure than they have ever been to perform, and any mistake is made to subject to unrelenting scrutiny from fans, from media, and even from players. This is the reality of today's sports world because of social media, because of the access we have to all of these things, and because everyone really has a microphone. Anyone can start a sports show like this and talk shit about anything, anytime they want. So yes, all athletes, no matter what sport they play, are under more pressure because there's more eyes that can critique them. And so that is the reality of today's world. But again, NBA viewership is down. And I think the players do have to take some accountability for that and their level of play and their level of hustle, the level of effort, their level of passion and intensity for the game. That is on the players. That's not on anyone else, no matter what the media is saying. But absolutely, LeBron makes some great points that we should hear and put into action. I really do agree with that. I don't really watch the NBA, but this applies to the larger conversation about sports. And which means basically like the media does love to focus on the negative. We all get caught up in focusing on the negative because that's what our human brain is biased to go to, towards the negative. But we should be hunting the good stuff and highlighting all of the good stuff, like LeBron said in his post on X. If you love something, yes, let's talk about it. If you love professional wrestling, talk about it. If you love NBA, talk about it. If you love Major League Baseball, talk about it. If you love rugby, if you love women's basketball, whatever it is, the more we talk about the things that we love, the more we highlight how great they are and how more people can get invested in that thing. And so I agree with LeBron on that nature. And I agree that the media could absolutely do a better job of highlighting all of the good stuff, but also being a little bit more constructive when it comes to the criticism, because that's also what the media is for, to constructively critique and give their opinions on certain things that they see happening on the floor. And the players in the NBA can do a better job, I think, personally, of competing with more intensity, with more effort, with just more passion for the game on a consistent basis, which would take away some of the negativity that has come onto the league in recent years based on the players. So there is some accountability on both ends of the spectrum, of course. Also, speaking to the NBA still, it's not to mention, right, the constant comparisons to older generations and their sort of rough and rugged play style. The modern NBA has evolved beyond some people's recognition. While many have a problem with it, with what it's become, the best way forward really is for everyone to celebrate the league and the many talented players it has, while also at the same time being able to constructively critique that, especially if it's your job, but really trying to hunt the good stuff. And at 40 years old, LeBron James is still one of those players, one of the best players, and his voice carries a ton of weight after 2 decades in the game. Really good tweet that he put out expressing his feelings in a very, very positive and constructive manner, right? As he begins to age out of the NBA, a new player will have to take his place as sort of the face of the league. Same thing you're seeing with John Cena and Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is the new face of WWE, and on his way out, John Cena is going to be the heel to elevate him to a higher status as he exits the company. And it's the same, potentially, a new player will have to take LeBron's place, and it won't be easy position to accept unless something changes with how the game potentially is covered on a negative basis. And, that's what I have to say about that. So LeBron has always been a good voice, a voice for change, a voice for positivity. I believe that. And maybe the media can hear his constructive criticism and also take their constructive criticism about the players and about the NBA, and it all can mesh together so it can be a flourishing league. And I think this applies to any really domain. Again, I'm not a big NBA watcher, but a lot of stuff has happened with the NBA since the Luka trade, and I've been invested in it. And so I wanted to talk about that sort of stuff. I'm more interested in Major League Baseball and how we can elevate Major League Baseball to become, the most popular sport, at least in America, and in the world it's growing too because of the Olympics and the World Baseball Classic and Shohei Ohtani and things like that. So speaking of Shohei Ohtani, let's talk about Travis Hunter. There isn't another prospect in the 2025 NFL draft quite like Colorado's Travis Hunter, obviously, and may not have been in the past half century. People love this guy. Sure, there have been players who have dabbled on both sides of the ball, catching a few passes here and there while playing quarterback, but the 6-foot, 188-pound Hunter was both a full-time wide receiver and cornerback for Colorado in 2024 and played both positions at an elite level. And Hunter says he wants to continue playing both ways in the NFL. Something the league hasn't seen since well before the AFL NFL merger. But is that really, realistic in the 21st century NFL? The last true two-way player in the NFL, Chuck Bednarik, okay, of the Philadelphia Eagles, hung up his cleats over 60 years ago. 60 years ago. And at the NFL Combine, Hunter made it really clear. He made it very clear that given his choice, he'd be a both full-time receiver and a full-time cornerback at the professional level. So to really state the obvious that I think people are not grasping is that Colorado isn't the NFL. Many fans just don't understand how massive the gulf of talent is between collegiate players and the NFL, especially Colorado, which is a subpar division they play in, and the NFL. Even the SEC and the NFL is a huge gulf in talent. It's why it's laughable when some people suggest that great college teams could beat, let's say, the Tennessee Titans. They would lose by 30. Every player in the NFL was a standout in college for the most part, from best player in the league to third string offensive lineman who rarely sees the field. The professional game is exponentially faster, exponentially more physical. There's no comparison whatsoever. And so that adjustment period is often hard because the NFL is far more complicated than college football. Receivers are expected to run complete route trees and cornerback play much more like press coverage and more complex zones. And it takes time, it takes practice, meetings upon meetings upon meetings upon meetings to figure out all of these things that you didn't really know in college that you're expected to master in the NFL. And so mastering one position in the NFL is incredibly difficult. Mastering two? Really? That's an awfully challenging and hard and tall task, even for someone who's as talented and supposedly as elite as Hunter. And so playing both ways would be like, a Herculean act. It would be incredible. But there are folks who do believe that Hunter should be at least afforded the opportunity. I don't know. If Hunter is somehow able to pull it off and be an effective starter for more playing offense and defense, he would do something that hasn't happened in the NFL in decades. Again, I mentioned that a little bit ago. And to say it would make him a star is one whopper of an understatement. He would be instantly a star. I mean, he's a star right now, and he hasn't played one down in the NFL. Imagine if he actually did this thing that he thinks he can do, he would be a star immediately. I mean, you look at Shohei Ohtani, who both pitches and hits for the Los Angeles Dodgers, and he's arguably the best player in baseball. It's not really arguable. He is the best player in baseball. And during the days of Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson playing multiple sports, the pair weren't just like sports stars. They were just cultural phenomenons. So Hunter would instantly become one of the league's biggest stars and would give a lot of coverage to the NFL. So maybe that's a reason right there why the NFL would encourage whatever team he gets drafted by to have him play both positions so they get more coverage of that. And so speaking of Ohtani, that's why I mentioned all of this. Travis Hunter says his two-way stardom is more impressive than Shohei Ohtani's. Like, come on, dude. Like, what? That's a freezing cold take. It's just a bad take, and like it just doesn't make sense because Ohtani is the best player in the world at the highest level, which is Major League Baseball. Travis Hunter was elite at Colorado, which, I stated above, is not the NFL. It's like, and so probably this is what Travis Hunter said. Probably me, what I do in football is harder because it is a lot on your body. Hunter said that to reporters at the NFL Combine. Ohtani, he's a great player, but you got to do a lot in football. What the fuck, man? If Hunter becomes a two-way player in the NFL and is as successful as Ohtani, then we can even begin to have this discussion. But right now, it's not even comparable. This freezing cold take is not even comparable because to be a two-way star in an average college football division is in no way the same or harder than to be a two-way player at the highest level while being the very, very best at it. I mean, it's been like 7 seasons, and Shohei Ohtani has 3 MVPs in Major League Baseball. Again, the most elite league for baseball in the world. Colorado football is not the most elite level of football in the world. It's just a college football program. And so if he's able to maybe transfer that into the NFL and play both ways, then we can start to have this discussion that it might be comparable. Right now, it's not. And to say that is kind of disrespecting the greatness of Shohei Ohtani and what he's actually done in Major League Baseball. And so Ohtani is that guy. But he's that guy. He's that guy. He's elevated Major League Baseball so much by why he's been in the league with what he's done, and now just everything. He's just amazing. And so I don't agree with that take, but I guess I do appreciate potentially the confidence of Hunter, but it is borderline arrogance, and that kind of mindset, that arrogant mindset, will get exposed quickly in the NFL. So I'm not speaking personally about Travis Hunter. I'm talking more about the mindsets, because remember, Champions Adjust is a mindset. It's a mindset first sports performance brand. So let me quickly explain the difference between confidence and arrogance as we basically Travis Hunter sort of spurred some thoughts in me about that. And I think it's important to make the distinction between the two, right? Confidence is the belief that you have what it takes to overcome any challenge that comes your way. Confidence is intense trust in oneself. Arrogance, on the other hand, is the belief that you're so wonderful, nothing will be a challenge for you. Arrogant people get exposed quickly and they back down in the face of adversity. Confident people step up in the face of adversity because they know they can. You see the difference here? The arrogant person thinks they don't need to work hard anymore. They've made it. They're exonerated from any future challenges. We know that person is weak, not strong. The arrogant person is weak. The truly confident person knows they will never be exonerated from pain, uncertainty, and hard work, but they step forward into growth anyways. That's what confidence is. That's what having intense trust in oneself means. And there's a huge difference between confidence and arrogance. And arrogance gets exposed at the highest levels very, very quickly. And so, to be extremely clear, I don't know anything about Hunter personally or his mindset. Everything I've seen in the media about him seems like he's a really, good guy. But saying that about Shohei Ohtani just doesn't make sense to me. And so I figured I'd make that sort of comparison. And so I don't know anything about his mindset. I'm just talking about what I see and really stating the actual mindset and mental skills that are really, truly needed to succeed at the highest levels. And they're really, when you think about it, there are 5 core principles needed to achieve greatness. There are 5 core principles that are needed to achieve greatness. And it starts with preparation. That's number 1. It starts with preparation. The second principle is immersion, which is really the ability to be fully present and locked into the moment. Think of it as awareness plus focus plus commitment equals immersion. The third principle being adaptability, right? Elite performers aren't just good at executing, they're exceptional at adjusting when things go wrong. Hence the name of my mindset program being Champions Adjust, because you can't be a champion unless you're able to adjust, adapt, or pivot. The fourth principle is energy management. Most people that think about peak performance think about it as being like super pumped up. The reality is it's about finding your optimal energy state, right? Because you have too much energy, you have anxiety. Too little energy, you're lethargic. Just right, that's the flow state. That's the optimal state we can be in when we're performing. And then you have the final principle, which is resilience. Not just about bouncing back, but bouncing forward. The best in the world use setbacks as fuel for growth. They have the mantra of obstacles make me stronger. Here's the most important insight. Anyone listening or watching, these aren't innate traits. They're learnable skills. With deliberate practice and the right framework, anyone can develop these capabilities. So head over to champsadjust.com to sign up for one of our mental skills classes. And so anyways, on back to the sports thing. Again, mindset is my favorite thing to talk about, and I love it. So I'm always going to relate to what I talk about on the sports show to mindset and mental skills. Anyways, I think there's about 24 days until Major League Baseball opening day. So let's fucking go. So let's highlight really the future of Major League Baseball with the 5 best players that are under 25. The 5 best players that are under 25. The 5th one is outfielder Jackson Merrill. He's 21. He plays for the Padres. Then you have Julio Rodriguez, who plays for the Mariners, age 24. Then you have Gunnar Henderson, plays for the Orioles. He's age 23. And then the man, Paul Skeens, he plays for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's age 22. 1 and 2 might be interchangeable, 2 being Paul Skeens right now, and 1 being Bobby Witt Jr., who plays for the Royals. He's age 24. I just want to mention that because the future of baseball is in good hands with many other prospects. There's like a list of 25 guys you could put in really good players under the age of 25 who are basically going to carry baseball into the next generation. So the future of baseball is in good hands with loads of other young talent, all this other talent poised to take over, continue to elevate and change the game. Then you still have guys like Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge and Juan Soto who are just making the game better as it happens. And so really though, all of baseball fans hope that in 2025, we get a full season of Mike Trout. That's what we want. I'm praying for a full season of Mike Trout because it won't be long before he retires. So at least, can we get at least one more MVP type season with like 150 games? That would be the best thing ever. Maybe it happens in 2025 and 2026. I'll just take one of them. I'll take one of the years where we just get an extremely healthy, full season of Mike Trout and just doing what Mike Trout does, being one of the best baseball players to ever exist in the world. Let's get a full season of him healthy. I don't really care how the Los Angeles Angels do. I just want to see Mike Trout have a full season healthy under his belt as a baseball fan. All baseball fans want it. And maybe he gets one more MVP on his way out into retirement where we can celebrate Mike Trout as one of the greatest baseball players that's ever lived. So I'm pretty sure that's all I have for you this week on the Champions Adjust Sports Show. Thank you very much for tuning in. Again, anything you need, apparel, merchandise, mental skills classes, podcasts, it's all at champsadjust.com. So head over to champsadjust.com for all things Champions Adjust. Thank you for your time and attention. I'll see you guys next time. Lots of love. Cheers.